In today's video, we are going to be spending 100 days in hardcore Minecraft, but we will be turning off health regeneration. What exactly does that mean, you ask? Anytime we take any damage, it will not regenerate naturally, meaning that the only way to regain those lost hearts will be by things such as golden apples. Our three main goals for this video will be to kill the ender dragon, get a beacon, and get full netherite armor, all while health regeneration is off. Day 1, we started things off exactly the way you would expect, by punching some trees as well as keeping an eye on the pillager tower in the distance. We made our wood into a pickaxe and mined up some stone, as wood tools seriously suck. With our shiny new tools, I went and made friends with the local wildlife. And we also found our first pieces of coal. We should be able to find a use for these guys a bit later on. We came across this village right next to spawn, however I couldn't go to it before I slapped all the pigs in the surrounding area. Natural selection out of the way, we can now take ourselves into the village where we found an iron golem and dissected him for parts. We got a grand total of 3 iron, which wasn't the best, but how can I complain, it's 3 iron. We then converted it into an iron pickaxe because stone is for peasants, and then we stole the village's wheat supply. I needed a place to cook up all of the pork that I'd collected earlier, so I decided to commandeer this village's house. I also noticed this broken portal in the distance, which gave us our first piece of gold. And of course that then meant that we could make our first golden apple. And that brings us to the end of day 1. I then spent the next few days turning my villages into Fletchers, as I really hate mining without diamond tools. So we started the process of turning sticks into some sweet dollar signs. I turned the nuggets I found from the pool into an axe and started the deforestation process. Mr. Beast would be so disappointed. From one iron axe we got nearly 4 stacks of wood and 5 apples. We also got a lectern so we could get a librarian villager. We then placed a few more fletching tables so everyone could get the stick trade, and traded all of the wood that I just collected. Then we started the painful process of getting a trade that I actually wanted. And finally we got the book that we wanted. We did another round of deforestation which gave us just over a stack of emeralds. After another 30 minutes of placing and breaking, we eventually got the unbreaking book that we wanted. Now I needed to get a few pieces of iron to unlock a toolsmith's trade, which resulted in us losing our first full heart. But if you ask me, it was definitely worth it to see that creeper go flying. Now I'm being a bit too careless whilst going through here. But that does now bring us to the end of day 5. The start of day 6 we didn't collect enough iron, so back into the caves we go. We grabbed our iron and carefully made our way down to the cave floor. Down 4 hearts I was getting worried, so we ate our first golden apples of the 100 days. As we were trying to make our way out, a skeleton had other plans, and I thought that this was going to be game over. However, we did manage to narrowly escape with 2.5 hearts left. The skeleton got the better of me this time, and I hung my head in shame as I dug my way back up to the surface. Once we got back to base, we placed all of our iron into the furnace and waited for it to smelt. We should have more than enough iron here to unlock the village's next trade. This will definitely speed the process up. We now have our first set of diamond tools, so I buy as many as possible so I can unlock the final trade for the villager to get a diamond pickaxe. He gave us a silk touch pickaxe, and now we have access to unlimited diamond tools before we even made a mine shaft. Now we have the tools, all we need to do is collect enough iron to make ourselves an anvil so we can combine all the books that we've been collecting. So we disenchanted one of our pickaxes and made ourselves a mine. We came across a small cave. It was a bit of a risky move to explore the whole thing, so I just grabbed the ores that I could see and carried on my way down. Now that we have enough iron, I set up a furnace and smelted our ores. We then crafted our anvil and combined all of our books to get an efficiency 4 fortune 3 pickaxe. Now all we need to do is find some gold and heal up. Diamonds are nice, but it's really not what I'm looking for. After having no luck finding gold, I thought I should at least make diamond armor so I can't get one-tapped by any mob. However, we did eventually find some scattered around this cave. We collected the easiest ores to get and ran back to our furnace and crafted up some golden apples. With a bit more health, we went back through the cave, gathering resources and fighting off mobs, where I witnessed a crazy battle to the death between these 2 skeletons. We came back to the surface with 2 stacks of iron and over a stack of gold. That should keep us going for a little while. While I wait, I thought I'd see how much wood we can collect. We're going to sell some to our fletchers and keep some for a later project. And now our gold is smelted, we can craft up some more golden apples. I wanted to make an iron farm so that by the time we're ready to get a beacon, we'll have all the blocks already there waiting. However, I've never built one before, so I found the simplest design I could and got to work on building it. As I said in the last clip, this is supposed to be a super simple farm, which it is. However, unless you're building this on a perfectly flat area like me, you're going to need to spawn proof all of the areas around this, as iron golems naturally spawn on the lowest level they can, which is why this took me so long to build and get fully set up into a working order. We also placed our nether portal down, but we're not ready to go in there just yet. Unfortunately, I ended up losing around 8 days of footage of me gathering all the materials for this build as my C drive got completely full, which crashed my game and my recording. Because of this, it also reset my advancements as well. But regardless, the starter base I think turned out really cool, considering I hadn't planned it out. It's not completely finished yet, but we still have plenty of time left to do it. I wanted to take a break from the base builds, so I decided it was about time to have a look around our nether spawn. As I ran from the portal, I got absolutely aimbotted by a blaze that had to be at least 50 blocks away. It made me jump really bad, so I sprinted back to the portal as fast as I could. So yeah, I lasted about a whole 20 seconds in that and came back with only 2 hearts left. I went down to our mine to see if I could find some more gold, and I got jump scared again by a zombie, leaving me with only 1 heart left. Eventually, after around 30 minutes of mining, we managed to find our first piece of gold. That was really annoying, but we did come across some more not too long later. As I was already down here, I thought I might as well try to find some more gold, when we came across a cave that seemed to have an unlimited supply of iron, and there was no chance I was leaving without it all. Now to finish things off, I wanted to come back to the nether to make it a little bit safer. However, the blazers had a different plan and literally 360 no-scoped me across the map, making me millimeters away from falling into the lava. This time we didn't run away and surrounded our portal so nothing can hit us as soon as we come through from now on. And with all that being done, that brings us to the end of day 43. Day 46, we only had enough levels to enchant 2 pieces of our armor, so I came up with a new plan. We mined up some trees and traded with our villagers to get our levels back up, and then enchanted our chest plate. I do love to see the free iron keep coming in. We only got Unbreaking 3, but we're still going to go back into the nether. But before we do, I think it's best to get our health up a little bit. Once we got into the nether, we did a nice little quick scope on one of these ghasts and started to have a look around for the best way to the fortress, as well as filling up all the little holes as we don't want to repeat as earlier. There wasn't really a direct route, so I had to make my own path across. Luckily I'd brought plenty of building blocks with me so we can easily make our way across. And now we have a safe path back and forth to the fortress whenever we need to come back. We made our way into the fortress and started to search around for a blaze spawner. We found a few blazes along the way and it didn't take long to find the spawner. I mainly used my bow as I didn't have to get too close. Once I had all the blaze rods that I needed, I made my way back out of the nether. We then crafted up a brewing stand as I wanted to make a cleric villager so we can get the ender pearl trade, as piglin bartering takes too long and too much gold which I need to make a golden apple. So we made a mini villager breeder and waited for him to grow. We spent a couple of days off camera to get the villager trades that we wanted and then started the process of brewing up some weakness potions. We then trapped a zombie with our villager and then cured him to get his prices down. And we can now get Protection 4 books at the price of only 5 emeralds. Day 55 to 64 was spent building a simple raid farm. I'd never built one of these before, so in the future we'll definitely build a much more OP version of this, but for now this will do to get us our first few totems. So to get the farm to work, we need to kill one of the pillagers that has the banner on top to get the bad omen effect. As you can see, the farm is working well. However, what I didn't realise was once that you get to a certain stage, don't let the mobs stack up, otherwise something like this will happen to you as well. They took me down to 1 heart so fast that the only thing that I could think to do was to pause the game and log out. When I logged back in, I was expecting to get insta-killed and lose all of the hard work that I'd put into this world. However, I managed to eat a golden apple in time and made a run for the ladders. I went back to base and crafted up a few more golden apples before heading back and finishing off the rest of the raid with my bow. We got a total of 4 totems, so we headed back to base and made our way into the nether as I wanted to get wither skulls so we can finally fight the wither. It only took around 10 minutes for us to get our first skull.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I can't believe how insanely lucky I got here that there was a 1 wide by 3 blocks long just sticking out of the side of the fortress. At least one good thing did come out of that. I think this is the first time we've had full health since the start of the video. Believe it or not, this is the second wither skeleton head that we've gotten in a row. All we need now is 1 more we can fight the wither. This literally took less than 25 minutes to get all 3 skulls without a looting sword. Once we got back home, we made our way into the mines and made super light work out of the wither. Once we killed the wither, we went back to the surface and grabbed all of our iron and built our first beacon. At least now, whenever we're around the base, we'll be able to get our hearts back out without having to use our golden apples. I then did a bit more terraforming around the base and added in a stone brick path to the front so we actually have a walkway. I think it's about time we make our way to the end to defeat the dragon. Honestly, the dragon doesn't worry me very much anymore, but considering we can't heal anymore, it is going to be a bit more of a challenge. It took me around 30 minutes just to find the portal room. For some reason I just couldn't work out where it was. Anyway, we're here now. I'm going to jump into the portal and leave you guys with a really quick dragon killing montage. And whilst we're here, we might as well go and grab ourselves an elytra or two. We got really lucky and I can see a boat from where we spawned. Not only that, behind the first one there's also another one which I can see in the distance. I skipped the main city and went straight for the elytras as I really didn't feel like fighting all of the shulkers. We also got some really good loot from the chests as well. We then flew over to the second city just so we have a backup and then made our way back home. Now that we have elytras, we're going to need rockets to use them, so I made the biggest mob farm that I could with around 15 layers, as we're going to need a bunch of TNT as well if we're going to be able to get netherite armor. We grabbed all of the gunpowder we just AFK'd and crafted it up into TNT and made our way into the nether. We found our first 4 pieces before we even had to blow anything up. I really like this method of mining for netherite, as I was only here for around 20 minutes before we had enough for a full set of armor. Once we got back to the overworld, we smelted up our netherite scraps and crafted up our armor. The remaining days were spent moving our beacon and making our crop fields bigger and giving it a nice border. I then AFK'd around the base to give the crops time to grow, bringing us to the end of the 100 days. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.